Assalamu alaikum. Now I will be focusing on the part B of lesson 2. Part B is about form the team. Form the team. So construct, build a team. That I mean. So form the team. This part is actually is about how you will actually form a team. So it depends on your capacity as a project manager. So you have to create a collaborative relationship with the team. And what you need to do is you have to make a resource management plan for predictive approach. You have to make a resource management plan. You have resources like people, you have resources like equipment. So you have to make a resource management plan for predictive purpose, how you will use it and in what time and what will be the procedure. And second is backlog. For adaptive and agile coach, they actually address the backlog. I mean, what are the activity based on the scope, what are the activity we have to accomplish with what kind of resources and how much resources, and they decide it. So here we call backlog addressing in the adaptive approach. And lastly, we have to build a team agreements process to support culture. We have to make a process to support the culture. So let me start with the Tuckman model. So to form a team, to construct a team, to make a team work, you can follow Tuckman model. So there are 5 steps. There are 5 steps in Tuckman model. One is forming, number 2 is storming, number 3 is norming, and number 4 is performing, and number 5 is adjourning. So what is forming? When a new team tries to work together, two team members are new, so they try to work together, they share views. So this is the starting point, forming a team. But after forming, what happens? There is a storming. How? Because they are from different backgrounds with different educational backgrounds and cultures. So they have different kind of opinions. So there will be a conflict of opinions, and there will be a kind of altercation or debate between them, among them. So that's why there will be a kind situation of storm. So that's why this name is storming. And then number 3 is norming. When they have the conflict, they have different views and opinions, they share each other, so they try to understand others, they try to digest the opinion of others, the point of others, and then they try to adjust it. When they try to adjust with the different opinions, different points, so they try to digest them. So there will be a process of normalizing, and that's why it's called norming. Norming means they are trying to absorbing themselves in the system, in the teamwork. So this is the stage of norming. And then there is a steps of performing. So now they are after the forming and storming, they are normalized, so they are behaving properly. Now they are going for performing. So this is the performing stage, they try to perform their views. And last one is number 5, it's adjourning. That means already it's done, so documentation and closing is happening, and they recognize the performance of team members, they give the recognition everyone, they recognize the achievements of each team member, and that's the process of adjourning. So now let's me start with the what we call project information, how we can actually form a project, how we can form a project. It is actually, there are many ways, but first one is we call T-shaped team and the I-shaped team. And what is T-shaped team? T-shaped means like a T. It means that the team which has different kind of knowledge. So if you are a person, you have the knowledge on production, you have the engineering capacity, you have the project management PMP, and you have other kinds of capacities like mechanical engineer, civil engineering, documentation, all sort of knowledge you have. So you are master of none, but you have knowledge of everything. So when this kind of people comes together, this is called T-shaped team. So T-shaped team are actually capable of managing everything. They are some kind of expert in every aspect, every type of work. This is we call T-shaped. And when we call I-shaped team, that means they are expert on one topic. For example, if you are a electrical engineer, that means you are expert on this field only. You don't know any other field. So you are focused, you will be a good performer in specific field. So you are actually subject matter expert. So you are specialized in a specific subject. So when this kind of members comes together, they work for specific purpose as a specific with their specific background, then we call it I-shaped team. Then we have servant leadership. Servant leaders are the leaders who work together in the team. They themselves work. They show the guide. They guide others. They try to mentoring others. At the same time, they work themselves. So they show the path by doing the work. So they are the part. They become the part of the team. That's why name is servant leadership. So to facilitate the T-shaped team, servant leadership is better. And then we have centralized versus distributed versus hybrid leadership management model. So what does it mean? Centralized mean, for example, you have three departments: production department, marketing department, finance department. Three departments you have. So each team is actually has to report to the higher authority. One person is there, either PMO or someone else. So when every department, every task is centralized, I mean they rely on the central order, central connection, and then they behave or they act. That's we call centralized leadership management. On the other hand, distributed management, in the distributed leadership management model, here what happens that everyone works separately. For example, production department, they work separately, independently, and then finance department, they work separately, independently. Then we have marketing department, they work independently, separately. So they are not supposed to fully supervised by the higher authority. That this team can decide themselves. So when the team members together in their work, they can decide themselves. They do not need to wait for the orders from the higher authority. That's we call distributed leadership management model. And but it doesn't happen occur all the time in this way, that either centralized or the distributed. There can be hybrid system. So in the hybrid leadership model, sometimes you use centralized process, sometimes you use distributed process. Both works together. So this can also happen. And last one is composition. Some team works full time, some works part time, some there are some cultural similarities or dissimilarities. Location can be different or same. Scope of the teamwork can be different. So we have to keep in mind that too. So now we'll identify the project resource requirement. What kind of project resource we need, we require to perform the job. And in this situation, whenever we make a team, we have to try to include diversity. So the people from diverse background, diverse knowledge, diverse understanding, diverse culture, diverse location, we can include them. We have to think about the equity and equality. We have to think about the inclusiveness like gender and other backward people. And we have to keep in mind about the language and culture of the people. So teams should be diversified and they must ensure equity and equality, and gender discrimination should not be there. So whenever we connect the experts and judgments, either consultants or historical data or project manager professionals, everyone should be brought in a team so that it works better. And for this, to select right person in the right place, to make a effective and efficient team, we can do a SWOT analysis. So we have to find the each person's strength, weakness, threat, and opportunity. So each one has this kind of SWOT. And when we form a team, then we have to find the team SWOT analysis. That means each team has some kind of strength, some weaknesses. There are some threats and opportunity from the outside too. And when we form a team, when they work, we have to follow some norms and ground rules. So first we will establish a team, then we have to handle the challenges. The team has to handle challenges. Challenges may come, but the team must be able to overcome them. So what they can do, they can include the guidelines like meetings, they can do conduct meetings, they can communicate each other, they can reduce the conflict, they can manage the conflict, they can share their values and aspirations, and also they can make decisions together. And here we can follow the PMI code of conduct: respect, responsibilities, honesty, and fairness. Respect, responsibility, honesty, and fairness. In the team, each team member has to respect each other. They must show their responsibilities. They must ensure honesty and integrity, and they must demonstrate fairness in their work and conduct. And last, the team charter and ground rules should be made. Each team member or each team should share, must have a shared values. They should have a behavior guidelines and decision making guide, how the decision will be made. That should be fixed by a guideline. And what kind of performance we expect from the team, that should be written. And if there is any conflict, how the conflict will be resolved, that should be also written in the PMI code of conduct. There are hints and guidelines there. So for this, they have to communicate each other. There should be a team communication. Effective communication can reduce the conflict, can affect on the outcome positively. So for virtual team, there are some challenges like individual performance tracking is difficult, diversity managing is also difficult, solo working prohibits bonding. When people works alone, that there is no bonding. So these are the challenges. So still we run the virtual team. So in this case, we have to check the individually, and we have to check individually each one's performance and capacities, and then we should conduct positive network between them as much as possible. And when we use technology, they can use the task board where they can write the task what will be done, and they can do messaging and chatting, and they can keep the calendars, and they can also make document and prepare document storage. So there can be a knowledge repository where each historical data is there. Team members can see there, and video conferencing can help each other. So where possible, we will use this kind of technological facilities. And so for addressing virtual team, there should be cohesion. I mean, the virtual team members must have the relevance and cohesions and coherence, and they should have a shared goals, and they must have the clear purpose of clarity and roles. If they know what is their roles, if they know what will be their vision mission, they can perform better. So team members must be under some guidelines principles that we have shown in the previous slide, and these are the challenges of virtual team. If this can be addressed, virtual team also can give a better solution. So up to this now, so this is the part B of section uh, lesson 2, and in the next video I'll show the part C of lesson 2. Thank you so much.